All right, up first we have Aries, rising, and sun. So watch for both of those if you have that. This Sagittarius new moon is happening in your ninth house and is making a quincunx to Uranus in your second house. So this is interesting because I was getting some really strong messages around relationships, although the astrology does not necessarily fully align with that. We're going to talk about why that is in a second. But a new moon in the ninth house is always about trying to reach new heights, new levels, to soar essentially in some kind of way in our life. Like we're wanting to level up and expand as a person. And Sagittarius helps us by redefining the way that we view our life and our world and our future so that we are reaching for more rather than staying stagnant. It's the part of us that is, adventurous and curious and wants to try new things in order for us to grow. And it's making a quincunx to Uranus in the second house. So there's something about your desire for growth that is a little bit stunted here with the quincunx to Uranus in the second house. Not stunted, that's probably not the right word, but there is something about the energy of stability and money and maybe even time that can come into play with this desire for adventure and a newness and an up-leveling in our life. So that could look like a few different things. With the quincunx to Uranus, there could be some impulsive action in the ways that we're trying to up level. So that could look like you wanting to randomly like buy something that's really expensive that you didn't plan on buying before. That could look like you deciding that you want to make money a different way and kind of scattering your energy. That could look like you wanting to like radically change up your value systems and the ways that you look at things. But there's a little bit of this kind of chaotic, impulsive energy with Uranus. And in order to hone this, we need to look at our finances and our modes of survival and preservation and security through a new lens. So the Uranus energy is allowing us to question how we've done things and try a new perspective on. So if we're wanting to up-level our life, how do we look at our finances and the things that we've held on to for security and survival? How do we look at those through a new lens that will allow us to kind of reinvent or go back and experiment with this area of our life in a way that is going to support our up-leveling? And so sometimes our security and preservation instincts can be the things that ground us, and sometimes they can be the things that cage us. And so this new moon is going to help you ask yourself what it would look like to have this area of your finances, your possessions, your security, your values be slightly reinvented and altered, or a new perspective gained on them so that they are more supportive of the next version of yourself. Rather than holding you in this current version of yourself. And there might be something related to relationships because of the cards that I'm pulling. It doesn't have to be the case, but I feel like this might even be a separate message we'll talk about later. This moon is also making a square to Neptune in your 12th house. So it's not the best time to feel like we know exactly where we're going, because this square to Neptune is spiritualizing everything, which is really helpful in some ways. It's making us a lot more sensitive as well. And it's making us more open to dreams and images in our meditation practice, for example, where we can gain access to what the divine has in store for us or what we're meant to know, messages from the divine. Ninth house is very prophetic where this new moon's happening. So you could have even a prophetic type of experience. But it's also a confusing time in the real world. So it doesn't always gain traction for this is the next step, and then this is the step. And now you have your whole outline for where you're going and what to do. So flow is important here. Trust is important here. Listening to messages is important here. And observing through your senses and the energetic feel of things to kind of tap into what's right. Because our mental mind is not always it's not always super strong when there's a square to Neptune. Sometimes we can really feel like things are bigger or different than they are. And so we can't always trust our logic. And we do have a lot of support with Mercury. So that's not 100% true with this new moon, but there's a flavor of that in here. So following more of the intuition is going to help. And with this new moon also trining the North Node in your first house, this is all about you. This is all about your personal growth. This is a year of huge growth for you with the North Node moving through your sign. And so the things that you're trying to up level and do are going to radically change how you perceive yourself and how others perceive you over this next year. So if you're kind of questioning how you've been doing things, that's good, because it's trying to open you up to new possibilities, new ways of looking at things, so that you can add on new layers to your identity rather than stay in this same cycle. So where we're getting support is Mercury in the 10th, sextiling Venus in the 8th. And this is, again, really supporting our mind. So even though the mind is also being diluted with this watery Neptune energy, it is being fortified a little bit from our Venus and Scorpio, which is still quite watery. But there's something about this energy that's very self-aware. And so you guys might become aware of certain mindsets or patterns that you have through conversations, for example. It doesn't have to be the case, but you are a lot more able to see your own shadows right now, but work with them. With this Mercury sextiling Venus in the 8th, we're not getting stuck there. So if you are noticing that, people bring certain things out in you, you're able to process a lot of that and talk it all through rather than getting stuck in that particular energy. It really feels, again, like a regeneration, you're cutting off the tail of a lizard and it's growing back into a new, stronger tail. So there's something about that with you where you might be transforming certain energies within you that feel darker, but it's ultimately going to propel your career and your purpose in life and your next steps in life with the sextile to Mercury in your 10th. Mercury's also trining Jupiter in the 2nd, so it's also going to influence you financially as well. The key here is to not let the shadows kind of lead you to overindulge financially or make impulsive financial decisions. I think that's going to be important. So let's talk about the second message, which is coming through with your cards. With the Judgment, the Two of Cups, Four of Swords, and Affection card, it definitely feels like some of you guys might be having like awakenings or important decisions and realizations when it comes to something that feels like a divine soulmate or a match. And this doesn't have to be a person, but for many of you, it will be a person. This could even be your relationship with yourself, but really I'm getting the feeling that this is a partner or a soulmate business, a soulmate career path. There's something here with this Judgment card where you're seeing things more clearly. Your eyes are opening wider than they have before, so you're taking more in. And that could be also the fact that this new moon squares Neptune, which is opening your senses and letting more in, again, through prophetic messages or feelings. So I feel like you guys are going to have this awakening around something that has felt like a soul-aligned purpose, passion, person, whatever. And there's something here with this Four of Swords card where it's pulling our energy back a little bit. It's having us reevaluate. Having this level of clarity and openness then has you kind of coming back into yourself and saying, and resting, almost like detaching from it. And this doesn't mean that you're not going to be on that path still or with that person still. It really just means that you're needing to reevaluate how the relationship is going or whatever this thing is, reevaluate how it's going and kind of edit it or fix it. With this Affection card, it's like looking at the way that you show up and give love and nurturing and nourishment to different areas of your life that you feel like you're having more awareness around. So if it's a relationship, does that relationship need more time to spend with each other? If this is a aligned career path, do you need to nurture your audience or spend more time in a particular area to focus on developing a skill? It's kind of like, let's take a little bit of time to rest and take a nap, meditate, take a bath, and then really sit with how we can truly open ourselves up to more aligned action in the areas of our life where we feel like we've been maybe too busy or somehow getting misaligned, or we're not sure how it's going to work in the future. It's like, how can we nourish that area of our life better and do things a little bit differently, or just improve our way of doing things so that this area doesn't fall by the wayside? And I think this awakening, this realization with the Judgment card is going to help you see where there has maybe been energy that has not been as devoted as it could be, or has fallen by the wayside in terms of focus and nurturing. So it's like, how can we level up not only as a person, but also, for ourselves, but also looking into other areas of our life that likely affect other people, and asking ourselves if we can show up better, if we can show up different, in order to fully nurture it. And that could be your relationship with yourself. So I'm not going to specify that area because I think for each of you it will be different, but hopefully you guys can reflect and decide what that is for you. So that is what I'm seeing for you, Aries. If you guys are a healer working in any kind of healing field, so like nursing or Reiki or doing medicine journeys, if you're doing anything that heals people and you're interested in using astrology for your work, I'm doing interviews right now with 50 people. So if you are wanting to do an interview with me, I will also exchange for a personalized 2024 forecast. So just an hour of your time or less for me to ask you some questions so I can create something in the future that will best serve an audience like you. And it's not a sales call. It's just to get more information. So if you're interested in that and you want your own personalized forecast as a result of that time with me, then you can find my email, contact@willisboom.com, and write me an email saying healer interview. Tell me what you do for a living, how you're a healer, and I will give you a scheduling link if it fits. So I hope to see you guys on a call soon, and I hope that you guys have a great day. Bye.